We all love holiday traditions, especially when they revolve around food, from turkey on Thanksgiving to chocolate on Valentine's Day. But one town in southwest France takes the tradition of Easter eggs to a whole new level.
Every year in Bessières, France, an army of volunteers show up on the end of Easter weekend. They're dressed in yellow and white, but it's not an egg hunt that's on their minds.
This festival is known as La Fête de l'Omelette Géante, the Festival of the Giant Omelette.
The organizers call themselves the Global Brotherhood of the Knights of the Giant Omelette, and they take this task very seriously.
The town square is cordoned off, and in the center is assembled a bonfire. The Brotherhood arranges giant tables on either end of the bonfire and commences in cracking 15,000 eggs.
Once the eggs are whisked and all of the seasonings are added, it's time to make our omelet. Now, this isn't a 13-inch little fry pan. This is a 13-foot fry pan. It takes a forklift to lift the pan over the bonfire.
Next, you gotta add some fat to the pan. What do they use? 73 quarts of duck fat.
But lest you forget, it's still France, and these chefs adhere to the brigade system. The main chefs are manning the spatulas, while the maître de cuisine is overlooking the whole thing, ensuring that each chef does their due diligence.
They must work together in perfect precision to avoid burning the omelet, because you can't exactly start over if you mess up.
Typically, cooking an omelet is a fast thing, but here, this giant omelet can take up to a half hour.
Let's not forget the 300 pounds of French bread.
Thousands of paper plates are at the ready, and each chef doles out their portion of the omelet to the 2,000 guests. And now it is time to eat.
In the end, the omelet is much more like scrambled eggs, and people do not mind.
How did this big tradition get started? You can thank its tiniest emperor.
Legend has it, Napoleon once stayed at an inn in the village and was so impressed with the innkeeper's omelet that the next day he returned with his entire army and ordered an encore.
He orders all the villagers to gather all the eggs from all the chickens in the village and bring them to the inn to make the omelet. And apparently, the omelet was a huge hit with Napoleon's army, and that's how the tradition begins.
Fast forward to 1973, and Bessières makes it an official holiday. Every Easter Monday, the chefs gather to fulfill the little emperor's delicious wish.
While the French may love their eggs, this small Spanish town prefers tomatoes. And in their tradition, they get to play with their food first.
Each year in Buñol, a small Spanish city near Valencia, an incredible spectacle takes place.
The event begins at 9 a.m. with the palo jabón, which is a large greased pole with a giant ham on the top of it. So for the next hour, people try to climb that pole, sometimes injuring themselves pretty seriously. But if you do get to the top, you get to keep that jamón.
2 hours later, at precisely 11 a.m., a horn is sounded. And that's when the real party begins.
At that moment, over 100 metric tons, 220,000 pounds of overripe, squishy tomatoes are poured into the crowd, and they go nuts.
For the next hour, everyone in the crowd joins a somewhat psychotic, frenzied tomato battle royale. Throwing tomatoes, pelting each other with tomatoes, rolling in tomatoes. And my God, it's wonderful.
It's called La Tomatina, and it's the world's largest food fight.
You'd think that La Tomatina has some big, deep meaning behind it, but really, it just translates to the big tomato thing.
The tradition of La Tomatina goes back to 1945. You have a group of costume performers parading through the city when a group of unruly teenagers knocks one of the costume performers to the ground, sparking a fight in the crowd.
it descends into chaos incredibly quickly. The crowd goes to the nearest vegetable cart and starts hurling tomatoes at what would become the very first Tomatina.
From there, an annual tradition is born. Well, except for a few years back in the early 1950s.
The Spanish fascist dictator Francisco Franco shuts down the festival in Buñuel because it doesn't have religious significance.
Franco threatens to throw anyone who violates the ban in jail. In 1957, the citizens of Buñuel are so angry about it that they actually throw a Tomatina funeral. They load up a casket with tomatoes, parade it through the town, and the women wail at the casket of Tomatina. Franco is so humiliated, he allows the festival to be reinstated.
Today, more than 20,000 tomato tourists flood the streets of Buñuel every year, more than doubling its usual population.
According to locals, you haven't really done La Tomatina unless you're picking seeds and bits of tomato out of your hair, nostrils, and butt crack for the next couple of days.
How does everyone get cleaned up? Well, when the tomato throwing is over, fire trucks drive through the town and spray everybody with hoses. Sounds like a party to me.
Turns out, once the town is sprayed down, the tomato acid left behind actually cleans the streets. Now, that's a win-win. Food is at the heart of many remarkable rituals across the globe, but an annual buffet in Thailand is extraordinary not for the food itself, but for the unusual guests of honor.
On the final Sunday in November, a massive banquet is prepared full of sticky rice, fresh fruit and vegetables, brightly colored jellies and sweets. Literally 2 tons of food is out on offer at this banquet.
Who is all this for? 3,000 wild macaque monkeys.
Macaques live everywhere in La Prairie. They roam freely, and they often steal food from tourists.
But on this one special day, no theft is necessary to eat.
The festival begins with dancers dressed in colorful costumes to look like monkeys, bands, music, this whole sort of festival vibe going on.
Then, platter after platter of fruit is brought forth and descended upon by the hungry macaques, sometimes before the volunteers can even place them on the table.
Why all the monkey love? The inspiration dates back to a 2,000-year-old Hindu tale featuring a truly heroic primate.
The impetus for this festival comes from a great Hindu myth called the Ramayana. There's this Prince Rama, and his wife, Sita, is captured by the demon Ravana. Then the monkey god Hanuman, best friend of Rama, storms the island, bringing his entire army of monkeys, takes Sita back from Ravana, and casts Ravana off into the ocean.
Hanuman is actually credited with building the city of Lopburi, so they believe that these macaque monkeys may very well be descendants of the great Hanuman himself.
In 1989, a hotel owner decides to thank Hanuman for his prosperity by holding the first ever monkey buffet. It's an immediate hit.
The festival is a way for the thousands of Hindus in Thailand to celebrate their faith, their histories, and the great role of Hanuman in the Ramayana.
It's really a sight to see. Monkeys eat whatever they want, whenever they want, on whatever they want.
They are honored, they feast, they gorge all throughout the city. It becomes an all-day, all-you-can-eat buffet.
And like most party guests, the monkeys don't help you clean up. They leave this huge mess of paper plates and cups. It's kind of like monkey Thanksgiving. There's just a bunch of monkeys in food comas napping all over the town.